Attention passionate Atlanta, Falcons fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC South and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Atlanta Falcons' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave division rivals stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Atlanta Falcons fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Atlanta, FALCONS. Let's get to the news. Let's talk about a potential blockbuster move that's been making waves in NFL circles. Rumors are swirling around the Atlanta Falcons making a serious push to acquire Khalil Mack from the Los Angeles Chargers. Now I know what you're thinking, Khalil Mack, at 34 years old. But hold on, because if this deal comes together, it could be a game changer for Atlanta's defense. And honestly, it might be just what we need to elevate this team into serious playoff contention, and dare I say, a Super Bowl contender. So, here's what's happening. According to some sources close to the deal, the Falcons are in negotiations with the Chargers, working out a trade that would send a first-round pick in the 2026 draft to LA in exchange for Mack. The Chargers, coming off a 6-11 season in 2025, are clearly in rebuild mode after a tough year where their defense struggled, giving up an average of 28 points per game. They're also facing some cap issues, about $15 million over in 2026, and need to free up some space for extensions for players like Justin Herbert. Mack's release would free up around $23 million in cap room for the Chargers, but there are doubts about how much longer Mack can sustain his elite level of play, especially with injuries cropping up in recent years. But for Atlanta, this isn't just about adding another veteran pass rusher. It's about transforming that defensive line into a real force again, reminiscent of the dominant units we saw a few years back. Mack, with his impressive stats in 2025, 5 sacks, ranking him 8th among edge rushers, along with 48 tackles, 14 tackles for loss, and 62 pressures, would instantly boost our pass rush. His PFF grade overall was an eye-popper at 88. 7 with a pass rush grade of 89.5 and a win rate of over 20%. Those numbers show he's still got that top-tier ability, even at his age. And let's be real, adding a player of Mack's caliber would send a message to the NFC South and beyond. The Falcons are serious about contending again, especially on defense. Now let's talk about what this means for the Falcons' defense, which was middling at best in 2025, ranking 25th in sacks with only 35. We're talking about a unit that desperately needs an infusion of talent and leadership. Mack could bring an immediate impact, projecting an additional 11 sacks this season, boosting pressures by around 25%. His presence on the edge would open up more opportunities for Judon and the rest of the pass rushers to get after the quarterback. Not only that, but his run-stopping ability is underrated. He's a consistent force against the run, with 38 stops in 2025, helping to keep rushing attacks in check. Imagine what that could do for our overall defensive efficiency. We'd see fewer big plays allowed, more turnovers forced, and a much more aggressive, disruptive style of defense that can change the tone of games. For example, a team like the Panthers or even divisional rivals in the NFC South would have a tough time game planning against a front featuring Mack and Judon working in tandem. The mismatch potential would be enormous, and it's exactly what we need to turn our defense into a feared unit once again. But it's not just about the numbers. Mack's veteran leadership and playoff experience. He's been a multiple-time Pro Bowler, a Defensive Player of the Year candidate, and a true disruptor, would be vital in pushing our young core forward. His presence would not only elevate the play of our current defensive linemen, but could also serve as a mentor for the younger guys, helping them develop quicker and become more consistent performers. Now I know some of you might be skeptical about adding an aging player. After all, Mack has battled injuries, and there's always that question about how much longer he can produce at the highest level. But looking at his recent performances, his 2024 stats, 8 sacks in 14 games, demonstrate he's still got plenty left in the tank. His injuries in 2025 were moderate, costing him 4 games, but he's shown resilience and the ability to bounce back. Plus, his advanced stats like EPA per snap at plus 0.13 show he's making a real difference when he's on the field. And let's not forget the bigger picture. For the Falcons, acquiring Mack would send a strong signal that we're serious about competing now, not just rebuilding. It's about elevating the entire defense, creating mismatches, and building a culture of relentless pressure on opposing quarterbacks. This move could help us shorten game times by creating more turnovers, force quick throws, and set up our offense with more opportunities to score. In terms of impact on the division, a Mac addition would be huge. The NFC South has been a bit of a toss-up lately, with teams like the Saints, Panthers, and Bucks all trying to find their footing. Adding a player of Mac's caliber would give us a significant edge against those teams, especially in crucial divisional matchups. It could also be a catalyst for our entire team to elevate their play, knowing we have a superstar on the defensive line leading the charge. Looking ahead to the playoffs, this kind of upgrade could be the difference between just making the postseason and making a serious run. Mac's presence on the field, disrupting passing lanes, forcing fumbles, and making life miserable for opposing quarterbacks could turn close games in our favor. Plus, the odds of the Falcons making a deep playoff push would skyrocket, especially with a defense that can consistently pressure the quarterback and create turnovers. It's no secret that the best defenses win championships, and adding Mac could be the missing piece in our quest for that elusive Super Bowl. Now, I want to bring up the betting odds because they tell a story too. Currently, the Falcons are listed with plus 15-0 odds to win the Super Bowl, which might seem long, but if this move happens and we see Mac making an impact, those odds could swing dramatically. If he performs well in the playoffs and helps us turn the page into a winning culture, the sportsbooks might have to reconsider. The idea of Mac competing for DPOY, Defensive Player of the Year, becomes more realistic, especially if he continues to produce at a high level and helps us dominate in key moments. Of course, this is all speculation for now, but the potential is real. The Falcons have the cap space, the draft capital, and the motivation to make a bold statement. If they pull this off, it could mark the beginning of a new era, one where Atlanta's defense is feared once again, and the team as a whole becomes a legitimate Super Bowl contender. This move, if it materializes, would also bolster our ability to control the game's tempo, force turnovers, and make big plays on defense. It's exactly what we need to elevate our team to the next level. Looking back at recent history, we've seen what a difference a star pass rusher can make. Think about the Seahawks with Metcalf in 2025. That trade significantly boosted their offensive production and yardage, ultimately helping them push towards the playoffs. In a similar vein, Mac's addition could elevate the Falcons' pass rush and overall team performance, especially if paired with Judon, creating a duo that's hard for any offense to handle. These kinds of dynamic duos have often been the backbone of Super Bowl-winning defenses. In the bigger picture, the Falcons are on the cusp of something special. The current roster is talented, but a move like this could push us over the edge. It's about building that identity, that culture of relentless pursuit and championship mindset. Fans are eager to see our team take that leap, and with Mac on board, the chances of us making some serious noise in the NFC increase exponentially. And let's not forget the emotional aspect. The Falcons franchise has always been about resilience, grit, and fighting spirit. Bringing in a player like Khalil Mack, who embodies those qualities, would inspire the entire team and energize the fanbase. It's about reclaiming our place among the league's elite and showing everyone that Atlanta is back in the hunt, ready to challenge for titles. Now, let's deepen this analysis further. The Atlanta Falcons, established in 1966, have a rich history marked by passionate fans and memorable moments. Their journey has been filled with ups and downs, but in recent years, they've been in a strategic rebuilding phase, trying to forge a competitive team capable of contending for the playoffs. The 2024 season marked a significant turning point, with the team showing flashes of potential under head coach Arthur Smith, who took over in 2021. Smith's offensive philosophies, grounded in strong run games and play-action passing, have started to flourish, but the defense has historically lagged behind. The Falcons' defense in 2025 was a mixed bag. They ranked 25th in sacks, with only 35 total, and ranked 22nd in points allowed at 24, 7 per game. Their run defense was somewhat better, ranking 15th, but they struggled against the pass, giving up 245 yards per game through the air. The secondary, led by safeties like Jesse Bates III and cornerback A.J. Terrell, showed promise but lacked the consistent pass rush to truly pressure quarterbacks and force errant throws or turnovers. The addition of Khalil Mack could be the catalyst to change that dynamic, transforming the Falcons' defense into a more formidable, versatile unit. The current roster also features promising young players like linebacker Troy Anderson and edge rusher Arnold Ebakti. Anderson, with his versatility and sideline-to-sideline range, has shown flashes of being a future star. Ebakti, a third-round pick in 2022, has developed into a solid pass rusher, but he still needs more consistency. The addition of a veteran like Mack would not only bring immediate production, but also elevate the entire unit's standards, creating a core around which future success can be built. Let's examine Khalil Mack's career trajectory in more detail. Drafted 5th overall in 2014 by the Oakland Raiders, Mack quickly established himself as one of the league's premier edge rushers. His combination of size, agility, and relentless motor made him a nightmare for offensive tackles. In 2015, he recorded 15 sacks, earning first-team All-Pro honors and was named to the Pro Bowl. His 2016 season was cut short due to injuries, but he still managed 11 sacks and 29 pressures in just 10 games. In 2018, Mack was traded to the Chicago Bears in a blockbuster deal, where he played a pivotal role in their defensive resurgence. That year, he posted 5 sacks, 47 tackles, and 17 tackles for loss, earning his second Pro Bowl and first-team All-Pro nod. His impact was so profound that he was a finalist for the NFL Defensive Player of the Year award in 2018. His ability to disrupt both the passing game and set the edge against the run made him one of the league's most versatile defenders. Following his time with the Bears, Mack signed a 6-year, $141 million extension in 2020, making him one of the highest-paid defensive players in NFL history at the time. His durability, however, became a concern, with injuries in 2021 and 2022 limiting his playing time. Despite that, his impact when healthy has been undeniable. His presence commands attention from multiple offensive linemen, freeing up teammates like Roquan Smith and others to make plays. Now at 34, Mack's best days might seem behind him, but his recent performance, 8 sacks in 14 games in 2024, indicates he still has elite traits. His advanced metrics, such as his pass rush win rate of over 20% and EPA per snap of +0.13, reflect a player who is still capable of making game-changing plays. His leadership, work ethic, and veteran savvy would serve as a primary catalyst for the Falcons' defense, especially in high-stakes situations. From a strategic standpoint, integrating Mack into Atlanta's defensive scheme would require a nuanced approach. Arthur Smith's defensive coordinator, Ryan Nielsen, would likely utilize Mack in versatile roles, lining him up on the edge, dropping into coverage occasionally to keep offenses guessing, and creating pressure packages that maximize his pass-rushing ability. His presence could also elevate the performance of Judon, who in 2025 had a career-high 5 sacks, and other emerging pass rushers. Looking toward the future, the Falcons' window to contend is opening. The NFC South remains a competitive division, with the New Orleans Saints and Tampa Bay Buccaneers both investing heavily to improve, and the Carolina Panthers showing flashes of promise under their young quarterback, Bryce Young. The addition of Mack would give Atlanta a significant edge in these matchups, especially when playing at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, a fortress where the home crowd could be energized by the sight of their star pass rusher wreaking havoc. The Falcons' long-term vision includes building a balanced team, strong offense, stout defense, and a resilient culture. The offense, led by quarterback Desmond Ridder, has shown growth, especially with the emergence of tight end Kyle Pitts and wide receiver Drake London. The offensive line has improved but still needs consistency. A dominant defense featuring Khalil Mack would take pressure off Ridder, allowing him to play more freely and make smarter decisions. Moreover, the Falcons have the draft capital and salary cap flexibility to make bold moves. With around $50 million in cap space in 2026 and multiple draft picks in the upcoming years, including a valuable first-round pick in 2026, they are positioned to be aggressive. Acquiring Mack might cost a future first-rounder, but the potential payoff in terms of immediate defensive impact and playoff success could be well worth it. In a broader NFL context, the trend toward elite pass rushers shaping playoff runs continues. The 2023 Super Bowl-winning Kansas City Chiefs boasted Chris Jones and Frank Clark as disruptive forces, while the Los Angeles Rams' Super Bowl triumph in 2022 was driven by Aaron Donald's dominance. The Bills, Eagles, and 49ers all had formidable pass-rushing units that made life miserable for quarterbacks. Khalil Mack's addition to the Falcons could place them in that echelon, giving them a better shot at dethroning perennial contenders. From a fan perspective, this move would also energize the Atlanta community. The Falcons, fan base known for their passionate support, has been craving a return to elite status. This potential trade signals a franchise that's serious about winning, about re-establishing a culture of dominance, and about competing at the highest level. It's about making Mercedes-Benz Stadium a place where opposing quarterbacks dread playing and where the Falcons' defense becomes a hallmark of fear. In conclusion, the potential acquisition of Khalil Mack is more than just a strategic roster addition. It's a bold statement of intent. It reflects the Falcons' ambition to not only contend but to dominate. It's a move that could redefine their defensive identity, energize the entire team, and propel them toward deep playoff runs and ultimately a Super Bowl victory. So, Falcons fans, this is the moment to rally behind the idea. Imagine Khalil Mack lining up in the red and black, wreaking havoc on the NFC South and beyond. Picture the pressures, the strip sacks, the game-changing plays. These are the kinds of moments that can turn a good team into champions. The future is bright, and with a move like this, the Falcons could be on the brink of their greatest chapter yet. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YOUTUBE algorithm to keep recommending the latest Atlanta Falcons news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Atlanta Falcons fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this potential move? Do you believe Khalil Mack could be the missing piece for us to finally get back to the Super Bowl? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Falcons. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Falcons news. This is an exciting time to be a fan, and I can't wait to see how it all unfolds. Let's go, Falcons! Exactly 10 102 characters.